most effective ways to prevent pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections?
The only 100% effective way to prevent pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections, or STIs for short, is abstinence. Abstinence means not having sex. Apart from that, consistently using a condom along with other forms of birth control each time you have sex from beginning to end is also a very effective way to reduce the risk of pregnancies and STIs.
How do you define sex?
Sex is defined in different ways by different people. In this video, when we talk about sex, we mean all types of sex: vaginal, anal, and oral sex. Even though not all types of sex will lead to pregnancy, all types of sex can give you an STI.
What are some reasons for waiting to have sex?
Some reasons for deciding to wait to have sex: 1, you just don't feel ready to have sex at this time in your life. 2, you're focusing on school or sports or maybe even a career. 3, you may have tried sex and you don't want to be intimate at that moment. 4, you may have had a negative sexual experience and are not comfortable being intimate with someone at this point. 5, you do not feel sexual attraction or the idea of sex is not appealing to you. 6, you believe that sex belongs only in marriage or a committed relationship.
What are some advantages of abstinence?
Abstinence allows for more time for personal development and relationship building. It can strengthen trust, friendship, problem solving, and communication skills. And it can teach partners how to have difficult conversations. Abstaining from sex can give partners the space to talk more and express their feelings in ways that aren't sexual.
What are some challenges to remaining abstinent?
Remaining abstinent is not always easy. It may seem like everywhere you look, people are being encouraged to have sex. You see it on TV, in movies, and even in the music you listen to. You might feel pressure to start having sex because everyone is doing it. Maybe your partner is also urging and pressuring you to have sex. According to the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, 67% of high school students are not sexually active. Despite popular opinion, everyone is not doing it. Abstinence is your personal decision. Your body and your hormones may also be affecting you, and you feel the desire to have sex, but you don't feel quite ready to. Sexual feelings are normal, and you can still decide to abstain from sex. Be aware that using alcohol or other drugs can affect your decision to abstain from sex. These substances affect your judgment and decision making, may make you feel less inhibited and more willingly to take risks. Avoid alcohol and other drugs when you feel that you may be in a potential intimate situation. Remaining abstinence can be easy. If you feel like you're doubting your decision, remind yourself why you choose to be abstinent and why they are important to you. Have a conversation with your partner to express how you feel and why it matters to you. Your decision should be respected. So talk about any challenges you're having staying abstinent with someone you trust and cares about you, such as your parents, caregivers, counselor, or a healthcare provider at your local health clinic. Connecting with people who feel similarly about abstinence can be helpful. It can give you confidence and the support you need until you are ready to have sex.
How do I know when I'm ready to have sex?
Being emotionally and physically ready to have sex is a process that takes time and is often filled with much confusion and uncertainty. This is normal and a part of growing up. The right time to have sex is when it aligns with your personal values, life goals, relationship goals, and emotional and physical needs. Deciding if you're ready to have sex is a big decision and it's very personal. It's important to think it through and wait until you're sure you're ready.
What should I do if my partner wants to have sex but I do not?
While it may seem overwhelming and/or awkward to talk about sex, remember that these conversations are important for healthy relationships. Your feelings are valid, so communicate them honestly and tell your partner that you do not want to have sex. Pressuring someone to have sex is never okay. If you feel that your decisions and boundaries are not being respected, or that your partner is trying to control or manipulate you, this may be time to reevaluate your relationship. Talk to a trusted adult or call a hotline for support at 800-799-7233. Remaining abstinence is always your choice. Everyone has the right to say no to sex at any time, even if they've had sex before with that person or with other people. You always have the power to decide what's best for you and what you want to do with your body.
If I choose to have sex, how can I protect myself?
Sex is a normal and natural part of being a human that comes with responsibilities and consequences. Unprotected sexual intercourse can result in a pregnancy and/or a sexually transmitted infection. While some STIs are curable, many are not. When you feel you are ready to have sex, there are ways to lower the risk of pregnancy and STIs. Educating yourself about these ways can help you take care of yourself so you can pursue your goals and dreams without added challenges. While there are many effective ways to prevent pregnancy, practicing safer sex is vital.
What does it mean to have safer sex?
Having safer sex means using condoms properly every single time you have sex from the beginning to the end. Condoms help prevent both pregnancies and STIs. Condoms can be purchased in many stores without a prescription. You can also get them at the healthcare center. Make sure to check the expiration date on the box of the condoms and don't use them if they are expired or if they have a hole in them. You may hear people say that external condoms are uncomfortable, easily break, and aren't effective. These are all misconceptions. So external condoms come in all shapes and sizes, and a person must find one that fits just right for them. Condoms are also available in different materials for people who have allergies to latex. The odds of a condom breaking are really small when you use them correctly. When condoms break, it's usually due to user errors. So internal condoms are an alternative to regular condoms. The difference is that instead of going on the penis, internal condoms go inside your vagina or anus for pregnancy and STI prevention. Always make sure that you follow the CDC guidelines for how to use a condom consistently and correctly.
What other methods of contraception, in addition to condoms, prevent pregnancy?
Contraception, also known as birth control, is the intentional prevention of pregnancy using various methods. There are a variety of federally approved contraceptive methods to choose from, and everyone can find one that they feel comfortable with. Each method has its own unique features, its own pros and cons. What may have worked for your best friend may not be so great for you, and vice versa. You will probably have a lot of questions about all the methods available. A healthcare provider can explain all the methods to you, answer all of your questions, and make sure that you know how to use the method you have chosen before you leave their office. Other available methods of contraception include the implant, the birth control shot, the ring, intrauterine devices, or IUDs for short, the patch. When the time comes to make the decision on what method of contraceptive to use, here are two things that you should always remember. No one should pressure or force you into choosing any particular method. It is your choice to decide what method is best for you. Birth control will only help with pregnancy prevention, not with prevention of an STI. The only ways to protect against getting an STI are abstinence or using a condom properly each time you have sex, from beginning to end. To learn more, click the link in the description box to download the PDF of different contraceptives.
Will using birth control for a long time ruin my chances of getting pregnant?
Fertility returns almost immediately in all birth control methods except for Depo-Provera, where ovulation resumption could take up to 1 year.
How do I effectively communicate my decision to my partner about having safer sex?
Once you're clear about your decision, you need to communicate that to your partner. 1. Pick a good time and place to have the conversation before initiating any act of intimacy. 2. Use I statements to take ownership of your decision. You're communicating that you have thought about this carefully and that this is the decision you have made for yourself at this time. I statements help you convey strength and certainty in your decision. 3. Be prepared that talking to your partner may not always go as you have wished. Take care of yourself. Who can you talk to process these emotions? How can you take care of yourself in this situation? Be sure to clarify these points in advance too. Are you clear with both yourself and your partner about what you will or will not do sexually? Do you both know where to get contraceptives? Who will be responsible for getting these? If you and your partner can get pregnant, are you planning to use other contraceptives in addition to condoms? Have you and your partner gotten tested for STIs?
How high are my risks of getting STI or HIV?
While anyone of any gender identity or sexual orientation can get a sexually transmitted infection, adolescents and young adults ages 15 to 24 are particularly high at risk. The Centers for Disease Control estimates that almost half of all new infections are in this age group. Most STIs are transmitted through unprotected vaginal, anal, or oral sex. The best ways to protect yourself is by practicing abstinence or practicing safer sex.
How do I get testing or treatment for STIs or HIV?
You can't tell if you have an STI just by the way you look or you feel. Most of the time, people with STIs don't have any symptoms. So the only way to know for sure if you or your partner have an STI is to get tested. As you suspect that you might have an STI or have had unprotected sex, visit your healthcare provider and discuss getting tested. Some STIs such as gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis are curable with the course of antibiotics. During treatment, you will abstain from sex, and ideally, both partners will be treated at the same time. You will be retested after a certain amount of time to make sure there's no more infection. For other infections such as herpes, hepatitis B, and HIV, there's no cure, but there are treatments available.
If I am a minor, can I get birth control or protection without asking my parents for permission?
While it's strongly recommended that teens speak to their parents, primary caregiver, or trusted adult about these important decisions, teens can legally access confidential family planning services without their parent or guardian's permission. A teen may want to seek medical services to discuss what their contraceptive and safer sex options are, to discuss STI testing and treatment options, or to talk about pregnancy.
How do I find a healthcare center near my house that I can get to?
When it comes to finding healthcare resources, it can feel overwhelming. You may also be experiencing some barriers to care, such as lack of transportation and insurance. There are many resources available that can help you no matter what the obstacle is. A good way to start is by visiting www.njfpl.org to help you locate a healthcare center near you. You can speak to someone at a center near you about the obstacles you are experiencing to see how they can help or refer you. Being aware of your sexual health is both empowering and part of your overall wellness.